if there is a rule that says you have to play 6 games in conference to play for your conference championship, and you don't meet that criteria, thus you can't win your championship, thus the committee that chooses which 4 teams gets to play for the ultimate championship, you'll be left out. There's no reason for that to be forced to happen if you can change the rule. I mean, what are we doing here? And I understand what the rules are before the season. As I mentioned to Albert, the reason why I'm sure the Big Ten said you got to play at least 6, knowing that the season would have no back end. We're talking about Week 18 in the world of the NFL. Hey, at least they can tack on games at the end of the season as a last resort. You can push, technically, you could push the Super Bowl to whenever, because it's not like there's some concert or tractor pull that is on the docket for Raymond James Stadium in February or March, where sorry, we're all booked up, like hotels and everything. You know, nothing's booked, nothing's booked up. So you have that back end to push. So does college football too, by the way. You know, nobody wants to do it, but the reason why I bring it up is the Big Ten basically said there is no pushing. Like, we're not going to reschedule games. We're not going to postpone games. We're canceling games. If it can't be played, that's it. It's done. So the reason you put something together like this is, let's say you've got a team that has won every game, which I think would be 7-0, right? Because I think it was 7 regular season games, whatever the heck it was. I don't know it off the top of my head. As you know, I've been
checked out.
I've been turning off certain Big Ten games midway through these days. But just because I have enough, I need more positivity in my life. But whatever it is, I understand. Like, so one team's played all their games and won, and then another team's been dealing with a ton of unfortunate COVID issues and has only won 3 of their games. You can't tell the team that's won every single one of their games, sorry, you've got to play this 3-0 team because they've got a ton of 5-star recruits and have we think the best chance to win it all if they catch fire. And you also can't tell that 7-0 team, if they're in the same side of the conference, same division, you don't go for the 3-0 team. I totally understand, but it's been so out of whack. Everything's been so out of whack. There's no reason to tell Ohio State, and this is from the Wisconsin athletic director.
Right.
There's no reason to tell Ohio State this rule that we came up with before we started a season that most of our presidents didn't want us to start anyway can't be changed. So good on Barry Alvarez to say that. Let's get together and make this change. Let Ohio State play. And again, they've already beaten Indiana. And you take a look at the division that they're in.
Yeah, it's Ohio State and Indiana on the east side.
Right, and they've already beaten Indiana.
Right. And on the west side, Northwestern's 5-1. They kind of lead that side.
So let's have Ohio State, having beaten the only other team that's there. As you know, there are world beaters and there are those beaten by the world. The rest of that division's been beaten by the world, or they're beating each other up. Michigan State beating Michigan. Michigan beating Rutgers. Can't believe I'm saying that, but that's, I'm running out of room. But honestly, Big Ten should just make this change. And then, how many times? I mean, we had Greg Sankey of the SEC on, the commissioner of the SEC. I love that guy. I love our conversations. Whether it's him, speaking honestly about the situation that he's in, about, I'm not an epidemiologist, or, humble brag dropping that he's in, getting ready for his 30th marathon of his life. Remember he said that?
Yeah.
I mean, he's in a tough spot, but he's a big mover and shaker. Expand the playoffs. Why are we sitting here saying, BYU, great season? We don't know really if you're tested enough for us to make a decision here. In Coastal Carolina, yeah, you too. We don't know if you've done enough to show that you're worthy here. Certainly not against the blue bloods like Clemson. Why don't you guys schedule each other and fly across the country and cross vectors now, as opposed to just saying, stay where you are, you're all in. We'll cross those vectors when it's one and done. Come on now. What are we doing? And I know that Sankey said at the time they've had preliminary discussions. Let's have more than preliminary discussions. Major League Baseball expanded their playoffs. The NBA and the NHL freaking bubbled up and came up with like play-in games. Come on. The NCAA basketball folks have already said that they're going to have the tournament in one spot, right? And the NFL may have in Roger Goodell's top right or left-hand drawer something that is totally radical, ready to go because they have to. Why is college football saying, no, we're just sticking with the plan? What is going on?
If not now, when?
Right. The NFL might expand to an 8th playoff team. They were already talking about that. And one of the things I want to talk about with Jed York are contingency plans.
That would get Dallas in, right?
No, it would not, sir.
Okay, gotcha. Nope. All right.
So, NCAA should just do something radical. Why not? All of us fans wouldn't say, well, you're changing, rules midstream. I don't think a single fan would say that. And let's go.
2020, you throw all the rules out.
Right, and tell BYU and Coastal Carolina, everyone else, you're all in and you think you're good enough? Well, great. Guess what? You're in. Now prove it. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.